Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for November 17th, 2021, from Psalm chapter 102, Another Complaint, Part 1. One of my favorite things about reading through the Psalms are the complaint Psalms. This is where the psalmist complains to God. I love these Psalms because how many times have we ever cried out to God and saying, God, why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? And here in the Psalms we find out, guess what? That's kind of natural. And we are also reaffirmed that it's not a bad thing to cry out to God, God, what's going on here? Are you even listening? So let's begin Psalm 102 with verse 1. Hear my prayer, O Lord. Let my cry come to you. Do not hide your face from me in the day of my distress. Incline your ear to me. Answer me speedily in the day when I call. Behind all these comments, you see the author saying to God, are you even listening? But notice that the psalmist is still praying, and the psalmist is still expecting God to answer. And this is the key for us when we have similar complaints. Next, you could say that the psalmist says, God, you didn't hear me, and now there are some natural consequences of your actions. Yes, there's a little bit of blaming God here, but let's get into it. Verse 3. For my days pass away like smoke, and my bones burn like a furnace. My heart is struck down like grass and has withered. I forget to eat my bread. Wow, this sounds like the psalmist is definitely going through some depression here and is not even taking care of himself by eating. This is not a deliberate fast for some sort of spiritual discipline. Plain and simple, it's just depression. Verse 5, because of my loud groaning, my bones cling to my flesh. I am like a desert owl of the wilderness, like an owl of the waste places. Pardon the pun. This doesn't sound very good. The depression is very, very great. Verse 7, I lie awake. I am like a lonely sparrow on a housetop. All the day my enemies taunt me. Those who deride me use my name for a curse. The depression continues into sleepless nights, and you could say taking personally the various attacks from the enemy. Verse 9, for I eat ashes like bread and mingle tears with my drink because of your indignation and anger, for you have taken me up and thrown me down. And here's where the psalmist actually now blames God for the tears and the misery of the psalmist's life that is now leading to this depression. Verse 11, my days are like an evening shadow. I wither away like grass. This verse most certainly is true. We are here on this earth only for a moment, compared to the eternal nature of the Almighty God. So what is God going to do when a psalmist pours out his complaint like this and even blames God? Well, what does God do to us when we also pour out our complaint to God? This is the beautiful part of God. You see, God still listens. We might think, well, why doesn't God just condemn the psalmist to eternal depths of hell? Well, first of all, we need to realize that God doesn't want anyone to go to hell. We have a God who wants to be known as a God of love and mercy. And so the psalmist actually teaches us to do the correct thing, which is to go to God in prayer with our petitions and to bring our questions, our concerns, even our complaints to God in prayer. We are not going to pray to a wall. Why? Because we know the wall will never answer us, nor the wall could do anything for us. but we still can cry out to God in prayer. Because we do know, as the psalmist knows, that God will listen. So again, the psalmist is teaching us to continue to engage God, even when things aren't going well. We should avoid walking away from God because that's the worst thing we can do. So there's nothing wrong with going to God in prayer and petition and saying, God, I'm not happy here. Things are not going the right way. They seem to be going wrong. God, will you help me? Join me again tomorrow as we continue with this psalm. God's peace and many blessings be with you. And thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others. If you have enjoyed these daily devotions, please consider making a donation to Peace Lutheran Church, 24024 West Main Street, Plainfield, Illinois, 60544. Thank you again for listening.